Hi everybody, it's me, Jessica Lahore, and we're back with another JESS Talk, and this time, I can feel it in my soul and my body. We're talking about love. That's right, everything about love, and I'm so excited to talk about it. But before we get into this episode, make sure that you've subscribed to my channel and show me that you love me, that you've hit the bell for notifications to show me that you love me. And let's get into this week's JESS Talk. Attention the whore, attention the whore, attention the whore, attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up and chest out right. Come on boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round. Crazy top. Okay. Oh my gosh. So we decided there was one day that we were going to do a JESS Talk and shove, I think it was like love, marriage, and heartbreak into one. And I was like, no, we have too much shit to talk about. You can't like throw those things into one little episode. So for love, L is for the way you look at me. Oh God, I am such a hopeless romantic in a lot of ways. I love rom-coms. I love, and I love moments like that. I'm not like an emotionally involved person. Like I don't cry at them. I don't cry because of love. I cry because of heartbreak, but love does, it just makes me feel good inside. Like that there's hope, that there's a possibility, that there's a story that can be told. I think every love journey is a whole different book, and some chapters, they're with many chapters, some with one chapter, and it just depends. Some with sequels, some with a whole series. Love doesn't necessarily have to be associated with an intimate relationship. I think love can be the love that you have for your pets, the love that you have for immediate family, the love that you have for your ride or die, your partner, the love that you have for your best friends. It's something that's completely indescribable. When I'm thinking about like how would I define love? If I were to take all those categories of loving different people, I would define love in a way of like pure safety with whoever that relationship is with. And let me define safety a little bit more. Safety just is something inherently that you feel in your body, that you don't worry about what you're saying. You don't fear how that person is going to receive how you show up in a space. That person shows you, whether that be with their words, actions, involvement, that in some way that they care about you. And I think that having expectations for how you want to be loved are important, while also understanding that people are humans, and like love does not have to be defined by never making a mistake. I think mistakes make your love stronger. And that's with friendships and relationships and business things as well. So I feel like I went through a period where I did not believe in love. And I think that's because I didn't love myself. You know the saying when RuPaul's like, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen up in here? I used that as a mantra to have some self-love, because I needed to be in love with a relationship with me, because before I could give anybody else the same kind of love in return, the same kind of respect. I don't think that they have to be one and the same. I think it is possible to love others while not loving yourself. But I do think it's significantly more difficult to love somebody else if you don't love yourself. And you're not working on loving yourself. If you are stuck in a hole of self-hatred, it is hard to get out of that, and you're not loving yourself, and it does impact the people around you. And that's coming from somebody that was that person. Lost a lot of people in my life simply because I didn't love myself. And I loved them with all my heart, with all my being, but it was not the same. It just couldn't happen. But let's break down love a little bit, because I know you all are like, yeah, we get it. Love and friendships, love with your animals. But tell us about the juicy love of your life and things like that.
So I'm like, what's tea?
I am fortunate to have experienced what I think genuine love is twice in a relationship. I think that in my first relationship, I don't know if I should use code names or not. You don't know if it's a code name or not. Let's call him Arthur, okay? I think that with my first real relationship as a queer human with Arthur, I was delusional to the love that was there for me. I'm not saying that he's off the hook for all the crap, okay? But I think that there was a lot of delusion and a lot of like smoke that was covering up my ability to be loved. And so I was like refusing to see it. But that was the first time I remember like feeling connected to a human and having heartbreak and being upset and like, I love him so much. But in reality, I did not. It was just one of my firsts. I think that when you have first experiences with somebody, it makes you feel a euphoric in love feeling. I gave my virginity to this person. I've never done these things with this human. I've never had these conversations with this human. And when you give a piece of yourself to somebody, that's a form of love. Love is like your heart, and your heart is a cake, okay? A really nice tres leches cake, because I love tres leches. And every time you allow yourself to love a human, you give them a little piece of that cake, okay? You give a little bit of them, a little bit of that slice of you. And when somebody abuses that and or makes you feel bad, it makes you feel like you're not loved, you're not able to love. And so at that time, I feel like there was a lot of smoke in the way of really feeling like I was capable of being loved by a partner for who I was. Also super insecure with myself. Barely came out, barely unvirginized. It was very different time. You know, I was not out, was barely a drag queen. A lot of things happened in my life at that point. And then I look at, I remember hearing this somewhere, sorry to sidetrack. I remember hearing on TV or something that you fall in love 3 times. And you're supposed to have your heart broken 3 times before you actually fall in love. And I consider that to be my first time. I consider that to be the first time I felt physical pain for loving somebody so hard. And I know that's mixing heartbreak in there as well, but we're getting there to love. But every time that you love somebody, you learn more about how you want to be loved, how you should love other people. You learn more. You learn more, and that cake gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you can give more, and you can receive more of what you think you're deserving of. The second time that I felt in love, we'll call him Tyler, okay? He hurt my love by cheating on me. And it was from that relationship on that I learned that it wasn't that he cheated. It was that he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me anything. It wasn't that he lied. I didn't ever ask him. But he didn't tell me anything. And from there, I learned that the way that I want to love my partner is that I want them to be able to do whatever they want and be free-spirited as long as they tell me and they're communicating with me. I also learned that I don't like finding out things months later. I'm going to restrict myself from dragging this human really quick. Different episode, different JESS Talk. Goosefraba. Oh, it's so awful. And then this last, so that would be the second time that I consider that I was in love. And my heart was broken because I did things for this human that I've never done for anybody else. And that's part of love. Love is when you go above and beyond things that you would normally do simply for the satisfaction of the person that you're in a relationship with. You know, it's not because you're forced to do it. It's because you're choosing to and you want to do these things. But you know, ultimately, the love comes into play when you don't think about how much work it is or anything. You do it because that's just what it feels like. That's what it's right. It's right to do that or to express that or to say that or you gift that. So that was the second time. I felt physical pain. That was also a really tough relationship because that was the time I needed somebody the most. when I was in a very dark place, they refused to be there. And so when you're willing to love somebody a certain way, but they don't reciprocate that love. And I remember even going through a whole essay about how I was in love with this human. I made a love manual for them with chapters. I made a private YouTube video of how much I loved them. It was kind of crazy now that I think about it, but I was in love.
You've got mail from a desperate boy.
That's what it felt like. So that was the second time it broke my heart. Third time, we'll call them Ryan. Okay. Ryan is somebody that I would consider myself still very much in love with without being in love with them. When somebody's such a huge part of your life for so long, and you learn so much about them, and in some ways you did not want things to end, but you just knew this wasn't right, like it wasn't meant to be. And that's the hardest decision ever. And it's almost like I love you so much that I know that this can't happen. The love is still very there. It sounds so reverse. It sounds so hypocritical to break up something, when you feel like you're in love and they're the best person ever, or they're your best friend. But sometimes love is challenging like that, and you have to really listen to logically. I think that's part of aging too, and being part of relationships, is that you figure out love isn't just all your dick, it's not all your heart, it's not all your mind, it's a combination of everything, and you have to really listen. And if it's not working, then you have to make those choices. But that was my third heartbreak. The hardest thing I ever did was actively knowing that I love this human and saying I can't love you. Like shutting it off. It's crazy. Whew, I'm getting hot and heart palpitated and all kinds of crazy because we got real deep there. It's the hardest thing, but in the long run, you do it so there's no more hurt. You love somebody so much you don't want them to hurt, and you know the hurting's going to happen anyway. So how do you minimalize it? How do you make the hurt feel less painful? Because you love them so much, and that's the last thing you want to do is have anybody hurt. The people that you love, when they're sad, when they're crying, that's another way that you know that you're in love with someone. How do you respond to somebody when they're at their lowest, when they're crying, when they're emotional, when you see them break down? How do they respond to you when you're in that same situation? Are they here's a tissue, I'll give you a couple minutes and leave you alone, but in a way that's like, I don't want to deal with it? Are they there for you? Do they listen? Do they hold you? Whatever that, like, you can really tell how a person loves you when they start to understand how you want to be comforted, and you can really tell how much you love somebody when all you can think about is comforting their soul. And so that was like what I would consider my third heartbreak. And currently, I feel like I'm falling back into being in love, and it's really scary, and it's also really exciting. And I ran from it once in the same relationship.
Well.
His name is Jess. I can say that now. Unless shit doesn't work out. Oh God, can you imagine this video airs and then all shit hits the fan? I'm like, I'm in love. I feel like I found it.
Do you see the delusion?
Not to be cliche, but I really do feel my heart was broken 3 times, and I think I've got it right. And that's really scary to say.
He could be the one. He could be the one.
And I ran from it because love is scary. When you start to love somebody after you've been hurt, you block it off. And that's another way you like catch feelings, like being in love or like loving somebody. Very different terms. Loving somebody and being in love are very different. I can love somebody. I can love what they do. I can love everything about them. But being in love with somebody are these feelings that I'm talking about. Those connection things. That's what I mean. The feeling of being in love. And now it just feels right. And I feel like I've got it right. We'll see what happens. When I relinquished the idea that I'm unlovable and this is upwards of the last 2-3 weeks, when I relinquished the idea that I was unlovable, when I relinquished the idea that I wasn't capable of providing love to my relationship, when I was able to relinquish my heart to be loved, to allow myself to be loved, that's when exactly it, when you just let things happen on a day-to-day basis the way that they do, and you actually try to talk and you let somebody into your soul. All the walls that I had were demolished, and it was the weirdest and most amazing feeling ever. And I knew in that moment that I had been hiding the fact that, not hiding, but restricting myself from feeling love. You're not going to feel this way again. You're going to protect yourself. You're going to ride solo, whatever. And it was just a lot of self-doubt, because it's definitely very clear right now, and it feels this way right now. And love can change. Who knows? When this video comes out, this may not be part of my life.
Heartbreak.
We'll be talking about heartbreak again. But for right now, I'm going to ride this wave and knock those feelings out, because I love this feeling of being in love.
Do you feel like you psych yourself out of that feeling?
All the time. That self-doubt of not feeling good enough, or I guess, is this the right choice? Are they happy? Am I making them happy? Is this a settling thing? I feel like it's natural to go through so many different thoughts, but I'm working on logically removing them from my head and just allowing love to exist how it is, especially when you realize you don't know how much time you're going to have to love this human. Oh. I feel like I'm getting real deep because I'm getting emotional, and I don't get emotional very easy. Yeah. I think it's possible to love more than one person. I think that it's possible to be, like I said, in love versus loving someone. I think that it is possible to remove loving somebody. Like, I can tell you, I can be like, hey, Oscar, I no longer love you. Like, I don't love you in any way. I don't have care for you. And I don't think that it's possible for people to not feel that differently in their head. I don't think it's possible to go from loving somebody to genuinely 100% not loving them. I think that you can realize that it's not what it is now, but and you can be mad at them, hate them, but I don't think it's possible when you love somebody to just throw that away and say, I don't love them anymore. Even if you're hurting, even if you don't admit it, you can just admit it to yourself. I won't believe you. I think it's in your head. Love, L-O-V-E, love, everyone. Tell me down below, have you ever been in love? What does love mean to you? How do you know when you're showing up to be loved? And comment below, what other types of conversations in terms of relationships or life partnership that you want me to talk about. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm an inattentional whore. Can't help it, bitch. I'm an inattentional whore.